It's time for City Beat, your source for all the latest news on the city of Thompson, only on 610 CHTM.
Hello and welcome to City Beat. I'm your host, Jaret Schneider, and joining me is Mayor of Thompson, Tim Johnston. Good morning, Mayor Johnston.
Good morning.
Before we go into the questions, I'll give you, of course, as always, the first minute to kind of go over the previous week.
I'll just touch on a few of the events that I had an opportunity to participate in over the last week. On Friday evening, November the 1st, I attended the Light a Building Blue event at the Regional Health Authority, and the event was to do some education and awareness regarding diabetes, and we were pleased to proclaim Diabetes Month in Thompson for November. So I appreciate that event and the organizers taking the time to put it on. On the 6th, Wednesday, I attended the Chamber of Commerce meeting, and Lane Bowles was there on behalf of the Fur Table, the Manitoba Trappers Association. This year's Fur Table will be held in Thompson December 20th, 21st. Encourage people to get out and attend the event. It's really something to see. And also, it brings an awful lot of economic activity into our community. So appreciate the opportunity to get updated from Lane, and look forward to the Chamber and the Chamber members playing a role in welcoming the trappers to the community. And then obviously over the last week we've had a number of meetings at Council. We had our regular meeting at Council on Monday evening, and then we had our annual organizational meeting last night. So those are some of the events. In terms of upcoming events, I remind people that we're coming into Remembrance Day, and on the 11th at the Thompson Regional Community Center, the Thompson Remembrance Day service will be held. I encourage people to attend, I believe 10 a.m. As well, I'll be attending the Aboriginal Veterans Day service at Wapanuck Community School on Friday morning, and also encourage people. Operation Red Nose is getting organized for the coming year, and they'll be having their kickoff on 3 p.m. on the 8th as well. So lots of things happening, and of course lots of snow over the last few days. I understand some of the frustration with drivers in and around the community, but we are out and we are completing our priority 1 and 2 areas, and then we'll be into the neighborhoods. It was an awful lot of snow over a couple days, and you have to remember, when it starts snowing, we have to keep repeating, especially the priority 1 and 2 areas, before we can get into some of the residential streets. So I appreciate the patience and caution being shown in and around our equipment. It certainly helps.
204-677-8181. We have Mayor Tim Johnston joining us today, 204-677-8181, taking your calls live. And we'll actually have a call already, so just quickly, we have one from Mary, and Mary would like to know, Tim, will the Damp House have a screening program in place to help keep the people and the businesses safe?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good question, and Project Northern Doorway is more than just one facility. It's a program that's been in operation, including a number of local organizations that have identified and are working with individuals to transition them from the addictions and into housing and into treatment. So there is a process. The organization, as Project Northern Doorway, has been working with individuals for the last year, and that's how it's going to operate. It's not going to be a drop-in shelter. It's not going to be some of the things that people fear. It is transitional housing for individuals that are working within the Project Northern Doorway program.
204-677-8181. And maybe we'll get into the Damp House maybe a little bit later on in the show, but for now, we'll back things up. Last night, City Council held their organizational meeting where you named Dennis Fenske as the new Deputy Mayor. So what's the plan and reasoning for giving it to Deputy Mayor Fenske?
Well, it's Dennis, it's his first term on council, but he was Deputy Mayor previously during this term, and I've always had a tremendous respect for Dennis. I've worked with Dennis, when he was my boss at the rec center. I've been a friend for a number of years, and now a colleague on council. And I've always liked Dennis's approach. He's very analytical. He's a straight shooter. He has a tremendous sense of calm in terms of how he goes about doing his work. So really, I think he brings those attributes. The most important thing for me is I truly believe our number one priority for the coming year is to continue to work on the public safety file, and specifically in 2 areas. One, we've got to finalize the negotiation with the province of Manitoba regarding the cadet program. We're very close on that. And the second one is I think we have to continue the work towards the implementation of the Main Street North program, designed after the Main Street program in Winnipeg. Dennis, as chair of public safety, I think will be able to lead that process from a stronger position as the deputy mayor, because he will be in communication with ministers and other organizations. So I thought it was a very good fit. First, as an individual, in terms of the characteristics Dennis brings, but also because of that need to really focus on that priority of public safety this year and his experience as chair of public safety in that portfolio.
204-677-8181. Taking your calls, 204-677-8181. Now, I know you also named your chairs for the committees for the upcoming year as well last night. So maybe what are some of those and some of the reasoning behind it? Well,
I've always, in both terms of office as mayor, I've always tried to bring consistency to the role of the chairs in the variety of committees, and I think that's important because previous councils often change the chairs every year. I thought that was a bit of an issue because you ask chairs to then start over again in terms of some of the plans or programs they had in place. So I've always liked the idea of leaving people in the program or in the chairs that they sit in from a consistency point of view. So I've done that again. I have made some changes, moved a couple people around, and I've also, quite frankly, I've gone to those people, those councillors, that I feel I have confidence and have a working relationship in terms of communication to chair the committees. And I think that that's important, and I like to reward effort, and I like to reward those that are working towards that common vision as a council. So just to run down them, Chair of Finance and Administration will be Councillor Lafreniere, Chair of Recreation will be Councillor Hogan, Chair of Public Works will be Councillor Evenson, Chair of Development Review and Human Resources will be Councillor Byer, and the Chair of the Legend Intergovernmental Affairs Committee as Deputy Mayor, and the Chair of Public Safety is Deputy Mayor Fenske.
204-677-8181. Now, last night I couldn't help but notice there were three councillors, Judy Collada, Stella Locker, and Luke Robinson, who actually aren't a part of any of the committees as chairs or members. And I know it comes down to voting and some things like that, but how come rather you think this is?
Well, I think that, and I made some comments in my opening address yesterday that, again, I believe that from my position, and the mayor names the chair of each committee, I certainly name those people that I have confidence that are working towards that common vision as a city. And I've said it before, and I said it last night, municipal politics isn't about a governing party or an opposition. It's not about party affiliation. It's about individuals being elected, but coming together to work towards a common vision. And our common vision for the city of Thompson is very clear. It's based on the strategic plan that council established for the term of 2010 to 2014. It's based on the Aboriginal Accord, it's based on the Community Sustainable Plan, and it's based on the Master Parks Plan. That's the vision. And my expectation is that council members will work towards that. Again, in my ability to appoint the chairs, I'm appointing those people that I have confidence, that I've been able to work with in the past, and can do that in the future. As well, I take the opportunity to speak with the chairs on a fairly regular basis, and so you need to have that communication. I made a change where I have not appointed Councillor Locker and Councillor Collada to chairmanships this year. I thank them for the time that they have served. It was a difficult decision, but quite frankly, it's clear that we're not on the same page at this time. So to me, I've got to go with what I believe is in the best interest of the city of Thompson and reward those that are putting in the effort. I also want to note that I had every other chair of a committee contact me other than those two individuals that had been previous chairs. So again, it's about working and moving forward, and every councillor is elected by the individuals. That's who they answer to in terms of election time. But I truly believe once you're elected, you represent the community as a whole, and you have to work within the best interest of the community whole as defined as a council, as a group. So we'll finish up this 1 year in our term. And I'm confident with those people that I've named in terms of ability to work towards those, as I said, common vision and the founding documents.
204-677-8181. Now, if we back things up to Monday, as expected, the resolution for the conditional use for the damp housing unit right next door here to us at the radio station was passed by a vote of 6-2. So what can we expect moving forward now?
Well, my understanding is that Project Northern Doorway Committee will move forward in terms of finalizing the arrangements for the purchase of the building with the current property owners. And again, I remind people it was a free market deal, willing buyer, willing seller. And then I anticipate that we'll put into place the plan to move forward in terms of. I think that there's some capital improvements that will need to be done on the property, and then hopefully we'll see people being able to move into the transitional housing.
204-677-8181. Taking your calls to Mayor Tim Johnston, 204-677-8181. Now, how will this affect not only Cree Road in the area, but also the city of Thompson?
Well, I think that, again, it's part of our overall plan and our strategy, downtown strategy, to really address the issue of addictions and the issue of homelessness in our community. And this is the next step that I believe we have to take. I believe it's the right thing. I believe we have an obligation as a city to work with all property owners on the Cree Road area, as well as the neighborhood that is adjacent. And part of the conditions that we put in is that there will be a reporting process, and we're going to hold people to the conditions that we put into place. But I really believe at the end of the day, this is an apartment, residential type complex, and I think that I'm hoping that within a few months it's going to be, we're going to move on, and people are going to see, just as they've seen in other communities in Canada, that the housing first model works. So I don't anticipate huge issues, but we certainly have the conditions in place that if should they arise, we would be able to deal with them.
And now, before we go and wrap things up for this week, I'll give you the final minute to preview things for the week ahead.
Well, again, I think the big one is that we're dealing with a tremendous amount of snow for this time of year. I'm not sure that I've ever seen this amount of snow this early in November. I guess there's some good news to that, is that I can get my snowmobile out right away. Just a caution on that, I don't think the ground and certainly the lakes aren't likely ready for some aggressive riding, so I caution people in and around those areas. But certainly the weather has turned. It's now winter. We're dealing with the removal of snow. We're also dealing with some water breaks because they sort of coincide at the start of the year. Urge caution in and around those sites. And again, the big reminder is I really encourage people to get out and attend the Remembrance Day service on Monday. I truly believe we are so fortunate as Canadians with the lifestyle and the quality of life that we have, and I think that we have to acknowledge and remember that people paid the ultimate price so that we can enjoy that today.
And that will do it for City Beat this week. Make sure to tune in every Thursday at 11:30 for more insight into your city and a chance to ask more questions. I would just like to thank Mayor Johnston for joining us today, and to everyone else, I hope you enjoy your Thursday.
City Beat will be back next Thursday morning at 11:30 with more of